In this video, you'll learn how writers use figurative language like metaphor, simile, and personification in their writing. Let's start with simile and metaphor. A simile is comparing two unlike things using the words like or as. In Sandra Cisneros' piece, Names, that we've been reading, she says, "My name, it is like the number 9. In this simile, she's comparing her name to the number 9. But notice that she uses like. So that's how you know it's a simile and not a metaphor. It is like the number 9. She also says, "Until my great-grandfather threw a sack over her head and carried her off, just like that, as if she were a fancy chandelier." Here she's comparing her grandmother to a fancy chandelier. Notice that she uses the word as to make that comparison. So you know it's a simile. Let's look at a metaphor. A metaphor is when we compare two unlike things without using the words like or as. Cisneros says, "It is the Mexican records my father plays on Sunday mornings when he is shaving." Here she's comparing her name to Mexican records. But notice, she doesn't say, "My name is like the Mexican records my father plays on Sunday mornings." She says, "It is." When an author compares something and just says it is but compares it to something totally unlike it, they're making a metaphor. They're using metaphor in their writing. I would love for you right now to pause the video and to write down the definitions for simile and metaphor. You do not need to write down the examples. You're going to write those in your composition notebook in the grammar and craft section. Okay, let's look at another example. This is from a children's story, Thunder Boy. Miss Winecoop talked about it last week in the library. It's by Sherman Alexie, and it's about a little boy who doesn't like his name. He's named after his father. In this page, he's talking about his father's nickname and his nickname, and he makes some comparisons. "People call him Big Thunder. That nickname is a storm filling up the sky. People call me Little Thunder. That nickname makes me sound like a burp or a fart." Okay, see if you can identify the metaphor and simile. I think you've got it. This top one, when he says people call him Big Thunder, that nickname is a storm filling up the sky, it's a metaphor. He's comparing his father's nickname to a storm. But notice he doesn't say that nickname is like a storm filling up the sky. He says it is. That's how you know it's a metaphor. For his nickname, he uses a simile. He says, "That nickname makes me sound like a burp or a fart." He compares his nickname to a burp or a fart. I want you to notice that he does use the word like here. That's how you know it's a simile. So let's look at an example from my writing. Sometimes I think that my name sounds terribly important, like the untouchable heroine in a Victorian novel or something made of crystal. It delicately dances across your tongue, filling every crevice of your mouth with sweetness. A mandolin you coo as you watch me flit across the dance floor or smell a bundle of wildflowers. I wonder if you can find the simile in this paragraph. Did you find it? It's right here. Sometimes I think that my name sounds terribly important, like the untouchable heroine in a Victorian novel or something made of crystal. In this simile, I'm comparing my name to a heroine. I'm also comparing my name to something made of crystal. In this paragraph, I'm also using another type of figurative language. I'm using something called personification. It delicately dances across my tongue. Ooh, let me highlight that in purple. It delicately dances across my tongue, filling every crevice of your mouth with sweetness. In this sentence, I'm using something called personification. I'm giving a non-living object, my name, human characteristics. When I say it delicately dances across your tongue, names can't dance. So, therefore, I'm using personification. I also say it fills every crevice of your mouth. When I say it fills your mouth, a name can't fill your mouth, right? That is giving it a human characteristic. So it's personification. Pause the video now and go write the definition for personification in your composition notebook in the grammar and craft section. So today you're going to be writing a section of your name vignette, a flash draft, where you describe what your name sounds, smells, or feels like using the figurative language that you've learned today. Metaphor, simile, and personification. Your flash draft is going to need to include 1 to 2 similes, 1 to 2 metaphors, and at least one example of personification. So let's look at my flash draft describing my name using metaphor, simile, and personification. Sometimes I think my name sounds terribly important, like the untouchable heroine in a Victorian novel or something made of crystal. It delicately dances across your tongue, filling every crevice of your mouth with sweetness. Amanda Lynn, you coo, as you watch me flit across the dance floor or smell a bundle of wildflowers. Sometimes my name is a campfire, Manda Bear. You want to cozy up to it. In those moments, my name reminds me of the smell of my grandfather. It smells like freshly baked bread and pine trees. It is warm and sweet. Most of the time, however, my name is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Amanda. Amanda, can you take out the trash? Amanda, how was your evening? In those moments, my name doesn't make eyes at you or draw you into its warmth. No, it sits smushed in the bottom of your lunch bag, waiting for you to get hungry. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to see if you can find one metaphor, one simile, and one example of personification in my writing. So let's see how you did. I'm going to start with similes. Sometimes I think my name sounds terribly important, like the untouchable heroine in a Victorian novel or something made of crystal. There's the first one. Okay, here's another one. It smells like freshly baked bread and pine trees. Okay, so those are all the similes. Let's find the metaphors. I have one here. Sometimes my name is a campfire. I'm comparing my name to a campfire. And then here, my name is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Comparing my name to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And let's find personification. So we had this one up here. It delicately dances across your tongue, and it fills every crevice of your mouth with sweetness. I could say that this is an example of personification because you don't want to cozy up to a name. I'm using a human characteristic to describe it. And then down here, when I say in those moments, my name doesn't make eyes at you or draw you in to its warmth, both of those examples are making my name sound like something a human would do. Make eyes at you or draw you in. Even here, it sits, right? Names can't sit, but a human can sit. So all of those are examples of personification. So hopefully you found at least one metaphor, one simile, and one example of personification in my writing. Now it's your job. In your composition notebook, in the grammar and craft section, I'm going to ask for you to write 1 or 2 more paragraphs of your name vignette where you use metaphor, simile, and personification to describe what your name sounds, smells, or feels like. Okay, enjoy.